To work on it. So tell me, what's one thing that you, I guess, one would like to see on Sugar Banana that we don't have yet?
Yeah, I like what she said about pushing to the app store, right? I feel like that's gonna be big, right? A lot of people are building apps now, and it's just in that initial stage. People want to go to that next stage of like, I want to be on the app store, I want to start making money from that, and I think if Sugar Banana can help with that, right, some of the operational side of things, right? And also in the future, one thing I hope Sugar Banana does is like, I don't know, there's some nitty-gritty things about building a business. Like, we talked about like creating an LLC, like documentation kind of stuff, like maybe tax stuff, because I know obviously we're starting with the engineering side of things, but I know you want it to be like bigger than that, right? And I think a place where like, you can use AI for like, oh, this is the business life cycle of building something. First ideas, we work together, go to the app store, anything else we need, we can go like that. I think that would be really great. So that's something I'd like to see in the future.
Actually, that's something that I never really thought about. Even though I think that obviously, like we've had this talk a lot of times, so I'm like, engineering is the best thing that I'm trying to solve. But then we want to skill to like research, marketing, ops, finance, everything that you can do in a company should be able to do it on Sugar Banana. You should be able to go from idea like you to build a full-blown company all on Sugar Banana without having to go anywhere else, right? So like going to like LLCs, S Corp, like C Corp, that should be something that maybe we should also consider as a endpoint in a step-by-step process. Because if you start to release your app to the app store, they will ask you if you are going to release the app as a business or as a person. So I do see that. That should be easy, I think. Yeah. So what was the most surprising thing you've done on SB? Like your aha moment on SB?
That's a good question. I think my aha moment was like ideating like payments, like with SB. Like I don't know, it's very interesting, right? Like, cause it knows your code base, right? That's very important because it knows like what your app looks like already. Exactly. So you can be like, okay, if I want to do this, how would it look like the best way, right? Because sometimes, right, like you have to think about, oh, I want this functionality, but how would it actually look in my own app, right? And that's what I really like about like, Sugar Banana is like context. Everybody knows in AI the most difficult thing is context window, right? And like Sugar Banana just like has that code base, it knows your app, and you can talk to it, like ask me anything like that, and you can ideate on the app. And I feel like that's the aha moment, because you feel like that genius, like, oh, this is how it works, but actually everybody can have an idea, but it's an idea that is like bound by my app and what it can do, and Sugar Banana is like giving information like that. Yeah, I think it's great, and I feel like I've seen that from the beginning. And honestly, also, as a PM, instant gratification is good in this sort of AI. As a PM, you usually don't get instant gratification most times, right? Because you put stuff on the roadmap, you have to wait for 2 weeks for engineers to like build it, and then after you have forgotten, you feel like, oh, Sugar Banana, like, oh, the dashboard, I want to change something on the dashboard, I put it on Sugar Banana and I change it, and I see, I'm like, I can post it on Instagram, look what we made, and stuff like that. I think that's also, and it makes it easy to get to the aha moment. Yeah.
So what was your own aha moment?
So everything. I became very addicted to the app. The first time that I put in an idea and it actually followed through and like did it exactly on the app. And then what was amazing is like marketing, like social media posts and stuff like that. One of the things I also wanted him to add was if I wanted to make content like videos, and I'm able to add them on there and then asking it to put it together instead of me doing it, because it is a lot of work editing and everything when you're doing content. So that was also like big for me, because that's something I'm also going to need when I launch my app.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually very good. Even though like today it makes video, I don't think it makes the quality kind of video that you want, and that's something that I will have to focus some energy on trying to figure out. Because today right now it can take maybe screenshots of your app and make a marketing video, but I don't think, maybe it can, no one knows, to be honest. Like, I don't know the limits of what SB can do today, to be honest. It's also limited by what you ask people to, right? As the engineers at Anthropic said, they solved the biggest issue, which is like AI knows how to code, and code can solve pretty much anything, right? So in my experience, if you ask SB to do something that it can't do today, it will write code for that thing, and then like use the code that you close to do that thing that you do. So if you could ask it to like, you could make a video of like your app and ask to make a marketing video and see what it does. Like, I don't know what you will do, but I'm sure you will figure something out. But yeah, I think Tom said something that I was going to reply to. With context and like the aha moment of like asking anything. Like there was the day I was taking a walk downtown and I was like, I had this idea and I texted the group about the idea, right? And I was like, I wish I could just ask like my code base like how this idea can be implemented within the app, because it knows the app, it knows the whole app. So like, yes, I have this idea of what I think I want to add on the app, but it's so important to ask the app itself, like I want to add this feature, like how can I add this feature to the app, and it telling you like, oh yeah, this is what exists today. Yeah, what will change, and then without necessarily doing it, you just have it and it more like, yeah, because you're as a PM or an engineer, you always have like exciting ideas, but how it fits into the existing system, right? You don't necessarily know it until you go to the code and look at the code, right? But I don't have to look at the code anymore today. I have to just ask AI like, how will this fit in? How can this scale? And I was like, yes, that so for me, ask me anything. I used to ask me anything a lot for this process of like, oh, there's a new idea. How do I add it? Like, talk to me through the code base. Yeah, it's very nice. So I guess that comes to the next thing. What's the best feature that you've used on Sugar Banana?
Yeah, the one I know I'm going to do that one is like being able to put the task on my phone. I don't know, it's like, we always joke about this, like as a non-technical founder, what you need is your phone, right? And you know me, I'm notoriously on my phone, right? And when I want to work, like, bringing up your laptop feels so real sometimes until I'm in locking mode. So I like the idea, like, like Anna's always giving me like feedback, like, oh, we should do this on the app, right? And when we are talking, I'm like, I'll usually forget when I have to go to my laptop, or even a customer is giving me feedback in general, right? Like, so it's just like, okay, I can just write it down, I can put it in task, and I can run it later, I think. And the fact that you make that so early and build it so fast, I don't know, I think it's revolutionary. I honestly feel like, like I said this like from the beginning, and honestly, I really do believe like in the product. I feel like more people need to try it out. And yeah, honestly, it's just good.
Have you tried the remote execute?
There's remote execute.
Yeah, so if your laptop is open, you can actually start on your phone.
On your phone,
and have it on the computer.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that yet. So I didn't know that one.
Start on your phone. Like,
oh wow, no, oh wow, I didn't know that.
You can also do the like for every task you can view the chat history, like execute on, or you can view it and then like continue to chat with it on your phone for it to continue working. Yeah, you need that. So what's your own favorite feature on SB?
Like Tommy said, I like the phone concept.
I see you on your phone every time.
Yeah, so I'm able to take screenshots compared to my laptop. It's not the same when I take it on my phone. Like when I have a certain idea and I kind of put it together, and then I'm able to like automatically put the screenshots and then ask Sugar Banana to add it onto my app or onto my website, and then boom, it just does it that same minute. So I really enjoy that.
Yeah, that's how I know you're like a real guy with screenshots, right? That's one of the things. Like you have to know. That's something like I told him the same thing. Like if you think like there are some things that I feel like other people will not get if you're like with a phone and you're just like thinking of ideas and like you're not technical, like just like taking screenshots, you're like kind of a thing. It's very important to use that. That's real.
It's funny because the day he said like we need an app for SB, he was like, I need to like create a task for a bug on Azure laptop. I need to attach a screenshot to it. I can't take a screenshot and I set my laptop and then it's too much work. Like we need an app for this. I was like, you know what, very, very valid point for if you're working on an app and playing on an app, it makes sense to take a screenshot and immediately upload the bug that you're seeing to SB and have it fix it. So yeah, I think like he asked for that, like, you know what, yeah, let me go build this app for Thomas. For him in particular, let me go build this app for him so he can use it. But yeah, I'm happy to see that you also like enjoy using the app. I've used this app a lot as well, mostly when I'm in the club, I'm in the party. Yeah. Exactly, I'll be in the club like drinking up, bro. I'm like, yeah, I have an idea. And I can just immediately add it update without forgetting. And I can either run it there or wait until I get home to like work on the idea. But the point is like I can actually document things a lot faster as they happen. Like someone tells you a bug, 1 second, just report it instantly. I think like I guess you guys have any questions for me then, because I think I've asked a lot of questions to both of you.
Yeah.
As users.
So what updates are you adding on to the app to make it a little bit more?
I think yesterday I was working on optimizing tokens. Yes, we have a side effect of like creating smaller tasks like saves token with Claude, but I was yesterday actually focusing on making it an intentional thing of how do we save tokens when you work with SB. Right? And that's what I was working on yesterday. With the new update now, you will be able to see how much tokens you spend on each task. It now tells you how much tokens you spent, how much time you spent running that task, and how much USD like you actually spend, like the cost of the task being completed. For every task now that you run, you will see like that estimate on it as it goes. Essentially, like the goal is that we keep trying to cut down the tokens you spend per task and how much money you spend per task, so you can get a lot more done with a lot less. Like, I don't have out of tokens as much as you do. I think it became a big problem because I kept running out of my own max tokens. I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. Like, I should run out of max tokens. And there are tricks and hacks to get that done. I'll focus on like improving that experience so far so that we don't like, even when it comes to like organizing your code base, right? It's possible that your code base was written in the past in a way that will waste tokens to gain context when you ask me anything, for instance, or you ask to do a task and you have to go like scan your code base for context, and it burns your tokens. I'm working on ways where the AI wouldn't need to scan through your entire code base and just look at one file and see a graph of your code and know where to go without burning through your tokens. And that's like one of the things I'm working on. Second one will be agents and skills. Today, like your tasks get run by a very like natural cloud code agent that is not personalized or like specific enough. So I'm working on like having a PM agent where if it's like just for like writing out the specs of a task or like scoping a task out, and then I'll have an engineer agent. Essentially, like when you ask it to do something, for instance, when you ask it to implement a feature on an app, most apps have like user like admins or creators, like multiple access to the same app. So far, like if you ask it to do something, it tends to only do it for that one user category, and it doesn't think of the feature as a holistic, how it applies to all the other categories on the app. I'm thinking of working on that experience such that the agent, the engineer agents and the game agents like, gain context enough to like take your tiny idea that you have, but know that this applies to all of your app in general. Like, you have creators and you have regular users and you have pro-users, how this feature will apply to all of them, and then work on it in that manner. Not like in today's world, it just does it for what you ask it for. And then you find out tomorrow that, oh yeah, this caused a bug on the other side because you didn't specify it outrightly to do it for that user group. But yeah, trying to figure out the best way to build agents so that your tasks don't get run by the base claw one. But either you select one that you want, or I orchestrate through PM to engineer, PM design, engineer, test, QA, and then like we are done because like all the agents have gone through that task. But then again, yeah, as one of the core things that was coming out over the next couple of days.
Yeah, no, I think for me it's like I have two questions, and basically like the first one is like AI is changing a lot, right? Like even me, like I'm in the world of AI, it's like, oh my god, there's always something new. Like there's always something new, right? And obviously as like, you know, Sugar Miller is the operating system that should be able to have like that. How do you think about that? Like just like honestly, how do you think about that? Are you like just incorporating everything as it comes? Are you giving to yourself maybe like 1 month, see what is like important? Like how are you thinking about that? Because even me, I'm getting like fatigued sometimes. Like there's always something new. How are you reconciling that?
I was telling my friend the other day that Sugar Banana will essentially be my brain dump of everything that's happening that I know and I'm aware of. And as I keep up to date with every day, there's a new thing to do. There are new ways to save tokens. There are new ways to get your AI to work faster. There are new like features like manage agents. There is like context graph to like so it's more smart with context outside of code. Like when you go into the files, it knows more. So like for me, like I keep thinking of SB as the place where as I learn these things, I bring them all into one place where like teams can. You don't have to keep up with AI anymore. Like you don't have to keep up with what's happening in person AI because Sugar Banana will always like continuously grow and implement all of those best practices. And everything that comes out, I'm always in touch and I'm always keeping. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna add this to SB. I'm gonna add this to SB. So like yeah, for me like I always get excited when something new because I'm like, yeah, I see how I can add this to SB. I saw this can make SB like better for people that use it. Better for me because again, I am like number one user of SB. Like before you use it, I use it before I can send it to you. So I was the first primary user of SB. So I keep building it to keep up with this space because I want to keep up with the space, right? I want SB to be able to help me do like awesome things on Ajala, on Accelerator. Like I want it to always help me do like the best work across. So yes, like, I don't get particular. I get excited when I see new things. But like, yeah, it was like, oh yeah, I have to do this next week or 2 weeks from now. I'm gonna have to like figure out how to do this.
Second one. Yeah, the second question is like, the big question, obviously, as having a startup is like, distribution, right? And scaling, right? Like we see like, it's interesting, like in Dallas, I don't know, it's interesting, like we haven't tapped to that market yet, right? Like I'm sure there are people building stuff, right? Like, how are you thinking about, showing what SB can do, how people can integrate into their normal, like, day-to-day business building, app building? Because I know a lot of people are interested in technology, right? But I feel like there's still something maybe like missing, or like, and people just, I feel like people don't know how easy SB is, or like how they can use it, and like how are you thinking about that? Like what's the approach? And I'm thinking about.
Yeah, to be honest, like I struggle with that. I guess maybe because of Dallas, and maybe that's why I'm thinking of leaving Dallas. To be honest, I'm thinking of leaving Dallas even more. The more I build SB, the more I think of leaving Dallas. Yes, SB is awesome, and it's kind of like sucks that people don't know about it, and I have to figure out how to get people to know about it, right? Because everyone that has tried it and has used it, her friend used it last week, and she was so amazed. She was so amazed. She was like, "How? This is incredible!" Because in 10 minutes, her idea was out in her presence. She's like, "What? The people use this? The people know about this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get people to know about it even like more." But yeah, I don't think there's a street part yet. Mostly in Dallas. I do believe that I could do a lot more. I know I could do a lot more, but I'm not sure that all that a lot more is to get the word out, especially in Dallas. But I believe that maybe I'm not going to focus on Dallas when I want to put the word out. Maybe I'll focus somewhere else that has the community for the tech community, I guess. But Dallas could be a thing. I know I'm not doing enough for sure. Now this is an effort to get the word out as well, right? So I'll keep trying. I'm open to ideas. Dallas is like a funny place because in California it will be a lot more easier to like have a tech meetup and have a lot of people show up because everyone is like trying AI and know that AI is the future of it. But I'm not sure exactly how we can get.
I think it's very interesting, right? I think about it as well, even with Agile X but obviously it's very for SB because it's very tech product, right? Because I feel like you don't have to be. I'm curious about it, right? I think you have to know where your community is, right? I feel like obviously being in San Fran, like Austin, now we have Toby, he's always telling us about people in SF, house like that. It just makes it easier. I feel like people like that asking for different reasons, like but I guess there's always time for that, maybe. But maybe it's like I think that's also what I'm trying to figure out. Like, is there a way to build and find your community outside of Dallas for your tech, but maybe still live in Dallas or do whatever you like out of Dallas, right? Is that even possible? Is that like taking the easy route? Or it's like, the world is also very changing, right? And I think we always talk about this, right? It's like, I don't know, I feel like there's been so many moments to make money in our lives. I don't know, I feel like if you miss this moment, maybe there'll be other moments, but I'm scared that, and I feel like, sometimes I think about that, right? Like, if you just want to make money, you have to be outside of comfort a little bit because, like, I don't know, I always think about that. When I was in COVID, this might be personal for me. When I was in COVID, when a lot of people were making money from finance, trading, I was in investment banking, I couldn't trade. So I lost out on that. I couldn't trade, so I lost out on that, right? And now there's like the crypto wave as well. Like, I don't really get into crypto as much like that, where people like my brother did and stuff like that, right? And then now there's like the AI wave, right? How many times you do get a chance to actually make money and miss it, and you can only get so much opportunity, and I think about that.
I mean, I am thinking about the future of SB. Over this past couple of days, I've been thinking about the future of SB, and I don't think we will remain a software-only product. I do think that the future of Sugar Banana is an infrastructure plus software as a product. I'm thinking of much larger teams, much larger collaboration, and the cost of running AI models so far with Claude and OpenAI, and how much that will for now, most companies are still on the free run time where they don't care about how much money someone spends on tokens. But I for sure don't think it will last forever. I for sure think that there will come a time when they will come we are spending way too much money on tokens per person. I would want to either like have a limit or just completely cut off that expense in general. I mean, we have the issue of like people getting laid off because obviously if the company is spending like X amount of millions on tokens, then we need to pay salary for that. So they will lay off and have to be careful to do the work because they are replacing your salaries with token expenses. Right? But I do think that Sugar Banana will end up being an infrastructure company that will focus on like running AI agents at either completely free, or as low as possible without burning tokens. And that's what I've been like thinking in my head for the future. Like we will make money from this, but I do think that the future will be cutting down expenses that companies spend on like AI. And I think that's what I'm going to focus on, figuring out how much to cut down.
Yeah, because I think that's going to be the biggest innovation, right? Like, and it's going to happen, right? Like everybody always talks about the cost of electricity, but technology over time, like yes. Kind of stuff, and people that can really optimize for that, and it's kind of interesting. I don't want to get too philosophical about it. That's why it's like some of these companies that already started this might naturally not win the AI race because they started by burning a lot, right? Like. And I agree that you're thinking about it the right way. And like, it's so funny. One of the issues though, when I go to Claude, instead of using Sonnet, I put 4.6 to ask a simple question. Just because I think maybe it can wasting tokens for simple questions. Just because your mind, you always feel like, if I burn more tokens, I'll get more answers. But it's not that you're not being optimistic. And what I told you about Sugar Banana, I feel like I never run out of my even when I use SB, which means the architecture already is better compared to Claude. Like I use Claude as my underlying model in SB, and when I use Claude alone, I've already says on your house. When I use SP, I'm getting a lot done without burning as much tokens. So I already feel like that's already very good.
When you told me that, I was like, yeah, it makes sense because like one of the core, like the most basic thing you can do to save tokens with Claude is to like have small tasks. Have you do small tasks, not big jobs that I have to keep like correcting it. And I think I was like, by default, like just making you think of it as a single task, like place helps you already save like tokens and how you think about it. Personally, if I start a task on SB and it keeps going back and forth, I'll just say, what, this is done. Thank you, move it to done. I'm going to create a smaller task to solve the one issue that I didn't fix in the bigger task. I'm like, you know what, it's good, I'll go and create a new one. That way, like it starts on a fresh context and like saves you tokens from instead of you thinking over the last 10 minutes, start afresh and fix that one time issue that you didn't fix correctly in your big task. But yeah, essentially like consider tokens and making it almost free would be like what SB would end up being over time. Would be like figuring out a way to get to. I mean, I already have a plan. I can talk about this offline. But yeah, I'm trying to get to a point where I can run SB on infra for businesses, for organizations, and it'll be pretty much free. They won't have to pay like continuous tokens to Claude or OpenAI or whatever. It's just be an SB infra that saves it for them.
I wanted to ask you, do you have any questions or like are you building something? Why are you interested in SB?
Exactly.
If not Dallas, then where?
Yeah, if not Dallas, then where?
Austin is good, to be honest. I keep telling my friends Austin because it's close to Dallas and it's close to Houston, and I have a ton of friends around here. But Austin is also more tech related. There's a lot more tech events going on. Tech Week, South by Southwest. Like there's too much happening in Austin that is tech related. Startups, a lot of startups are in Austin. Big tech are in Austin. Most of the big tech are also actively involved in Austin and the tech community in Austin. Yeah. So I think just like being able to tell someone that I'm building an app that I have to build in Austin, that would be a great thing. Like they all be like, oh yeah, let me give it a try because they're also going to do something out there. California would have been the best place, obviously, because there's like a million people that will use it in California, but I don't like California that much.
So. And Austin might actually be better on the future, right? Because I think, politically, a lot of people also move into like red states, whatever kind of thing, stuff like that, different things. There's a push, like Elon Musk, all these kind of people moving to Austin, right? So I think it's great, and like, it's still relatively not as expensive as California. It's still a little bit like, I don't know, let's say it's like fun, but it's like, I don't know, not my type of fun, right? Like, it's like, Austin still has like a little bit of, like you said, Dallas and Houston kind of thing, and it might be good. Like, and Austin, we went on like a vacation, like 1 hour from Austin. I forgot the name of the place. It's so beautiful. Like, you can literally get like a, like, natural. Yeah, you can get like a natural, you can get like a, if it's rich enough, you can get like a big house, like just like city, city. Like, you can get a house like next to the city, just like space. Texas has space, right? You can have like a backyard, you can have like, farmland or whatever kind of thing, right? So I think it's a proper way of living, honestly.
Someone's asking.
What's question? What is the hardest thing about dealing with non-technical founders? Think about that. How come nobody ever asked what's the most technical thing about dealing with technical founders? As if like technical founders are like, but yeah, ask her about. I would say, Richard said technical founders are very non-technical. I'll never forget that. That's his answer to that. But what do you think?
Very non-technical. Very, very non-technical. What's the most difficult part about? I think is lack of context. I think that's probably the most difficult part about working with non-technical founders is lack of context. Context in the sense that what's possible, what's not possible, how things work today, how things exist, and why things are done the way they are done in the first place.
Like the bucket images?
It's so funny. It's so funny. Like I tried to do something. I was like, "Oh, why can't we split the money?" Which I was like, "We cannot do this. We are not in financial bank."
Images. I kept putting send images. Why am I getting to error?
It's kind of interesting though, because I think I know there's this like word of people building AI like, oh, you don't have to need a co-founder, and I don't think that is true. Honestly, I think it's good to have like somebody check and balance you. It's always good, right? It's like you as a PM, as a non-technical founder, you want to go out, right? You need somebody that can put the guardrails, like, okay, this is probably not doable, kind of stuff, right? That. But you also need somebody that is not technical as well, because sometimes technical founders, they are stuck in their like kind of thing. You need somebody that creates a stupid idea that is so stupid. You think, okay, is there a way to like that is not so stupid, right? Like, and it's not like non-technical is stupid, but like as a non-technical founder, you definitely want to please customers. You want like a business outcome. So you're like saying like, oh, I want a way for people to split the expenses no matter what on my app, right? And maybe I'm taking it this way. But I think your founder say, this will not work, but maybe we can do it this type of way, right? And I think that's what makes a good collaboration and thing work as well.
That's true, because for us, that always happens with us. Yeah. Because you always have the widest, like, and I'm like, bro, let's not do this. Because again, sometimes it's not as impossible. Pretty much, I guess, with me, I always say like, nothing is impossible. Like, don't think of how difficult it will be to implement something. Because technically speaking, nothing is impossible, right? But again, there are some things that are not impossible to implement, but just we shouldn't be implementing them to begin with, because they will lead to bad like occurrences or bad outcomes. It seems like easy to do now, but as an engineer, I know that if we do this, like the outcome tomorrow, like next week, will not be like something that we would like to come. So like we always have these long ass talks or fights, and we come to like a middle ground. Like I see what you're saying. Here's how we can do like or what we have to do without like destroying our system. And I think like again, like you said, that's why it's good to have technical, and of course, technical people are always more on the restrictive side. Like let's be safe, let's be very careful. Not kind of like they are very bold-minded, they have the best ideas, but they don't know the limitations of what exists. Yeah. And they always come to the middle ground of, okay, yes, what exists, and yes, what we can do to get that done. You have me as a technical founder, so what has it been like working with me as a technical founder?
It's interesting, but that's true. Like sometimes I would have some ideas, like on my app, I want Spanish, like translations for different languages so other people are able. Yeah, and payments. And he does tell me like the pros and the cons to that situation of people trying to hack or people claiming they didn't make this payment and stuff like that. He does tell me the pros and cons. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah, I mean we need to write a book about payments. I think like it's so fun. This is something that I've been interested. I feel like you have to start a company to really know to know some things, right? And I think that's why it's also very important. Like me as well, like people that Richard have started companies, very important. Like with AI is really good. And I always want everybody should build companies. You should scale up. I think everybody can scale faster. But it's good to have somebody, whether it's a mentor, a board of directors, somebody at some point that can just that you can learn from. Even me, like having call ideas is very important, right? Books that say, okay, these are some of the mistakes we've made. Because I think there's this entrepreneur, like me, I'm not even gonna lie, I've never been on I wanted to be an entrepreneur if I don't know, it's like, okay, it just comes. I have an idea, like, oh, I can build this, let me follow up on it. I've never romanticized it as much as people do. I don't know, because, I've always thought I would make my money, I don't know, it's random. It's like being an investor or something like that. I've always known smart people, like friends like Richard, like Toby, Michael. I've always just been around smart people like myself. So I was like, you know what? And I know when smart people do smart things. I always thought I would be an investor. I don't think I would start anything by myself, to be honest, right? But you just have a point in life with the word of AI or something. You have an idea, you're like, okay, I have friends that let's just do it, right? But I don't know. I feel like people, obviously, some people know each other. I don't know. Life of being like me, I like sometimes school, a little bit of soft life, push energy, right? You're an entrepreneur, there, your payment, you're talking to Stripe, you're emailing Stripe, like people don't talk enough about that. And that's why it's very important we have a community as well. I think maybe because it's in Dallas, right? Maybe if we don't have a community, maybe we're in SF or something like that, people have like, oh, this is another payment thing. We don't have like have to call like 3 days, we would have just something. And that's why it's very important that there's a community for like people building stuff.
So what's your favorite thing about SB?
That I can build SB with SB. That's my favorite thing about it. It's like, it makes me so happy that when I can think of something I want to do on Ajala or on Excelita or even on SB itself. Like I want to do this stuff, but I can't do it yet. And I go tell SB to build it into SB, and I use SB to like then do it. For instance, like I want to save tokens. Like I said, I want to save tokens. I want to optimize on token spent. So like I used the old one to build a new one, and today I'm only running the new one for new tasks because the old one still burns tokens. So like I now do everything on the new one. I mean, I've never pushed that out to the public yet, but that's what I use now. I use the new one because like I was like I want to save tokens. The old one was burning my tokens, even though it saved tokens for me. I started that was burning tokens. So like I now use the new one to like save tokens. And that's the best thing about it. Like just because like being able to build, like you said, it's awesome, but using the app to build itself has been like the easiest and the best thing because I can't explain how it feels. That's my best about it. I just build it with itself. I guess my second best thing now is you can select multiple projects. Obviously, like if you're building a company, you will know like you will soon get there very soon. You will have an admin dashboard to manage the product. You will have a website to sell the product. You will have the product itself, which is an app or a web app. So all these 3 or 4 projects that you have running have to be consistent in functionality and features. They have to be like pretty much up to par. There's a word for it. What's the word for it? But they have to be in sync in what you can do, right? So like the app of Facebook should be able to do something, should be able to do the same thing on the web, same thing on the desktop app. And the best about SB today is that you can select all 3 or 4 of the projects, write one task and say start, and it will go ahead and do on all of them in parallel. Right? So for instance, I wanted to redesign the UI and UX of all 3 apps. So I just created a new task like for redesign. I selected all 4 of them and like do this one task, and then like, alright, bet I'll do for the web app, for the admin app, for the dashboard. And over like 5, 10, 15 minutes, it has worked on all 4 of them, and they all now look and act the same way, same consistency. And I think that's one of the best thing that I buy for me. Is like it's easier for me to just work across multiple projects, even because again the company is not one project. Most companies will never do one product or one project with multiple things running at the same time. And being able to just one task across all of them is my second best thing about SB so far.
I know there's a lot of people starting to use SB, like, other than us and everything like that. What's something, a project they are building or they've used it for that they told you about, they were like, this is interesting. But is there like a functionality they are thinking about, like that is like, no, it doesn't have to be the idea, like, or something they did, like they were like, or even their feedback, like, oh, I was able to do something that was very exciting to you.
I think that one of the feedbacks again have been the aha moment of this app exists. Look at this app and build me like a web app or like an admin dashboard or like I think that has been the best feedback for people that are coming on with their existing projects. That has been the best feedback. They feel like, okay, here's the app, look at it, completely do a redesign of it, or like make a new version of it. That has been the best feedback so far. But for people that are coming in afresh, I mean, that's also a feedback. Like I gave her like the app, I did the V1 and give it to her, and then she's like, yeah, redesign it. And now I'm like, oh wow, it looks much better than it was before. Yeah, it looks much better than it was before. But like her friend was like, her friend had a different thing because her own was like completely blank, just an idea, just one document. She had like the idea written down in the document, and I was like, you know what, like, let me show you how it works. Just upload that document of an idea and tell you to build it. And it just, in one go, he built the entire MVP of the app in one go. It just from the document that she had written down.
That's
just like, and that's like, wow, this is great. And it was in French, like, the app was, the app was completely written in French, and it worked
wow, that's really nice.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that. I don't know, but like, that's really interesting. And that's one thing I like about SB as well, not to like keep is like the idea that you can go from 0 to 1 and then increase it. Like it's just a continuous place you can keep building and growing and stuff like that. That's very important.
Yeah, I think the keep building part is the most important part of SB. Like you can go from 0 to 1 quickly, but you can keep building. Like once the app is out, you can have employees come and just add them to SB and all keep building together. I think Rise is like one of the core. Like I said, now it's just building, but you can go together into building it as your app goes to the App Store. SB grows to help you push to the App Store. And then when you're about to register a company, SB grows to help you register the company. And as you go into doing finance and doing marketing, SB continues to grow to support all of those like functionality.
Yeah. My next question would be, because I think, what would be the differentiation with SB? It's not just like an app that enables like coding and scaling, it's the team working elements, right? And I want to think about like, how are you thinking about that, right? Because I think a lot of people are, like I say, kind of going solo kind of a thing, right? People have level, even big companies, like as well, but as what big companies, they are not realizing, like, people are like, oh, there's, what do we call it? Technical debt, we call it, like, because people are doing the same thing on different places, right? And I think that's something SB can fix as well, right? So, like, how are you thinking about that? And what are some ways you're thinking about, like, this special thing in SB where, I can create something, you have visibility into it, we have, like, access, like, okay, somebody maybe has to merge it, or if it's like a dashboard, you don't need somebody to merge it like that. How are you thinking about that, and why is that important to you?
There are two ways that I think about, like, team growth and team size with SB. First one is the question of, does SB move to the cloud to begin with? There's one question I've asked myself a lot of times, and people have asked me, do I want SB to move to a cloud platform and not a desktop app, right, to make it easier for people to collaborate on the web instead of it being local? But secondly, like, as I think with teams, like I work at Microsoft and I see this, like, we are never in sync about what's possible in our code base today with AI, because we have this idea of a marketplace where like anyone can add skills and agents to the marketplace, but no, because when you pull the code base, no one goes to check the folder to see what new skills have been added to that folder. Or with SB, like that would have been shared automatically. There's a UI for it, you can see like, oh, there's 4 new skills in your team, and you can like those skills are automatically applied, and you can select those skills when you run a task or whatnot. So yeah, I think consolidating like best practices and making it a place where like AI leads of teams can configure and make like AI usage more like seamless across. I mean that's the thing that the best companies are trying to solve. Like I said, the best AI companies are trying to solve the problem of they have very good AI people that are doing very good AI things, but how do you share that skill and that expertise like to everyone else? Like how can you make it easy that everyone else don't need to know about expertise, but they can use the same like tools that the expert AIs on your teams. And I think that's what SB is trying to go to. There, you can only have one person that knows a lot about AI and does all of the configs and all the setups, but everyone else will be able to have the gains of that AI on the product itself. I think like teaming and team growth is like maybe a stage 2 problem. I think the more I work with non-technical people, the more I think like for now I'm going to keep focused on trying to make it easy for non-technical people to onboard and use either by themselves or with a tech person with them. But I think that is the stage 1 thing I'm trying to stick. I don't think I've fixed that problem completely yet. Obviously we both agree that I haven't fixed that yet. So I'm thinking I'm still trying to fix that problem for non-technical people to be able to come by themselves and build something. Shape, like if you can come build and shape it, that would be perfect. For now you can build and shape a web app on with SB by yourself, you can build and shape, but then apps itself will be the next frontier. And then like with teams itself, I have a bunch of things to be for teams, but with teams it becomes easier because then you can assume that there's a technical person on the team and like scaling it up.
And I know like there's a lot of things to take this, and obviously like hopefully you take it step by step as well, so it doesn't like overthink. But I remember one thing I really like about SB, like the feature of SB for me, obviously you're the one that determines the vision. I feel like when people build SB, like for example, think about like you have like a PM agent, right? There's an engineering agent. It's like people are thinking about like AI as like parallel, everybody using AI, an engineer using AI. a PM is using AI, a marketing team is using AI. But when I think about what SB or what SB can be, it's like AI is the like operating system is the like everything you do, AI is just running it. And I feel like that's like what's gonna sell. Like me personally, if I was gonna bet in the future, I think that's what the bet in the future. I think people will realize that. I like being deep. I read a lot about stuff. I feel like people realize for human psychology, people love to work together. It's very important for people to work together. Like organizations already are fragmented in nature. Like so, adding else in that fraction is not going to help. And even if you have AI, but somebody still has to approve it, like and all this other stuff, it will cause like just like a lot of slowdown. So I think like the solution, it's not like SB, like everybody's working like okay, a PM is saying like a PM is saying okay, we want to build this feature. Engineer is saying okay, fix it this way. The marketing team says like this is our market that sells. Make a video with TikTok that has this characters kind of a thing. It goes from time to time, and AI is the one just building it on the back end, right? But the people just specifying, and obviously when AI has like something, you will add more stuff. I'll be like, oh no, we actually already have this skill. Like don't waste tokens on this, or we've already done this, right? And I think that's why I really like SB, and that's like I think that's a differentiation.
I'm actually like one of my next big bet will be now. One of the things I was looking at recently yesterday was skills. The idea of skills, and skills are supposed to replace agents entirely in due time. And skills will be one awesome thing for teams to like for actual companies with teams to use, because and your best engineer on the team can focus his time on building the engineering skill of how to build on your product. The best salesperson can focus on building the sales like skill on SB. At the time where all of this could build the skills, anyone else in your company can come and create and run a task to sell a new feature, and then that skill already exists. The skill of the best salesperson in your team has been made, and that skill can be used to like produce your new sales content or your new marketing content or your new like reports. Either way, like skills are like going to be the next best, and that's what I'm going to be building like next week. Like I'm working a lot on building skills, because I will ship a few skills like with SB by default, but I'm giving like the teams themselves the ability to build their own skills that they will use on SB. But yeah, like you said, like working together should be easier. Like AI should be doing all of the work, but we should be able to just be able to direct, like just monitor workers, monitor it, and be the head, I guess, the brain behind it. But the manual labor should be done by
For non-technical folks, how does SB handle security?
Currently, SB works locally on your machine, right? So like we don't store your code base anywhere. We don't know like anything about your code base, what you're building. And again, that's probably why I'm sticking with that model for now. It's like I like the model of you owning everything, and we are just a UX that you use to like make things easier, right? But essentially, you could do all of these things. If you're an engineer, you could do all of these things on the terminal, right? Or by looking at the code and doing it, right? But my bet is engineers are only a very small part of any organization. Like I don't point any organization you have at me, and I'll tell you that engineers are a very small part of it. There's a much larger org around engineers building stuff, and that's my bet with SB. My bet is like everyone should have the ability to use AI together as a team. Alongside the engineers are just a tiny part of it. Today, most AI that is being built are focused on engineers, like because they are like, make it easier for you to build stuff, but only for engineering wise. Much more with AI, you can do a lot more with AI, right? And that's my bet with SB. Like nothing can come in, and you can build stuff. Yes, you can build apps, but then you can do so much more. Like if your role is sales with SB, right? The promise is now you can create your sales content knowing fully well what the app can do, right? Like your sales content will be very much now grounded in what the actual product is capable of. Right? So you can ask it to create you a sales a sales document based off of one feature that exists, and now we will go in the code base, like study that feature that exists, and actually make the content like very, very, very precise based off of what exists today. And I've used that a lot on like SB, either for creating videos or creating Instagram posts or LinkedIn posts or creating even like the actual copy to post on Instagram or Twitter. Like I asked it, okay, I want to market a feature on Instagram. Look at the code base and give me like copies that I can use to market that one feature, right? And it goes and give me the examples of it.
Yeah. So I think a key point to highlight, like you said, like is like for people that maybe might be scared of like trying something new, for the security people, like, oh, I'm saying kind of thing, like Richard said, this is like on your desktop, all this, your IP, your code base is on you, it's like where you're storing it. So like there's no possibility of hacking, because as long as you keep your computer safe, like you usually do. So you own your IP, you own your security, so it's safe in that way, right? So you're just using the UI to run your tasks, but everything is being done locally on your computer. I think that's good that you asked that, and something we need to tell people more as well, because I know sometimes always like, oh, security concerns, I don't understand that. So I'm more.
I think someone even asked like if like the models that run, even the models that run on your code are your own models, like not mine. You own the model that run on it today. You pay for Cloud by yourself, or you pay for Codex or OpenAI by yourself, and all of the tasks that you run are run on your own like account and your own model. So you could go to the Cloud Code website and go and see the tasks you'll be running on SB, and it will show up there, because like we don't own the model. It's exactly your account that is being run on. There is a time coming where I am going to go offline and support like open source models, so you can actually point it to your own local model and you won't be Cloud, or you won't be anyone that's online. But that's a long term like goal for me to have, like at some point I should be able to point to an offline one and have you like connect your own model to Sugar Banana.
Yeah, that's a good point. Being decentralized and stuff like that. No, that's really good. Yeah, so I think anything else should be seen. Yeah.
I mean, there's no more questions to ask.
Does anybody have any questions? If anybody has any questions, but we'll keep talking about SB. The most important thing is like, people should try SB out. It's an app for building anything. The operating system. So build something. You can scale from 0 to 1, but mostly 1 to infinity as well. 1 to infinity. I think a lot of people do not have that. I think it's very important. A place where you can collab with your team, you can build your ideas and scale it, and you have like agents running your stuff. You can see by your own self how it gets done. And I think it's a crazy app that everybody really needs to check out. Honestly.
Yeah, and I think there is the only issue is like really getting to the first task being run is the biggest like blocker. And I think it would be easier if like SB shipped with our own models, like if we use our own account to run models, it would probably be easier to like get to running and that aha moment faster. Because today now we require to go create, if you don't have an account yet with Cloud Code or Codex, like you have to go create an account with them, like before your subscription before you start. And I think that may delay the setup process, and some people might get stuck in that process.
But like I like that you asked that question. It's a very important question, honestly, and that's why I like different people's question. But the fact that it might take a little bit to set up, I actually think people is more powerful, because it's secure, right? There's what people are scared of, like like won't these people have my idea? Won't people take my ideas? My code be safe? My idea safe? The fact that it's just the operating system. You're bringing your own AI model. Everything is on your desktop, your own computer, right? And it's just like a place that amplifies your idea and gives visibility to work across teams on the same idea. And I think in the future you might think maybe there's money if you don't have your own model. Yeah. But I actually think a selling point about it is just that you're not Claude, you're not like Codex, you're like just like the operating system platform. And I think and I think it will obviously get feedback from people, but I actually think that's very powerful, because I think that's, like you said, most people will be scared about that, right? Like, why can't I trust this operating system? But the fact that it's decentralized on your own, like run locally, I think it's actually a big advantage right now.
Yeah. One of the other things.
Yes. So actually, that's a good question. How are you managing token cost?
I mean, that's I've come to that. I'm very scared about that. I'll come back to it. Because it's new. I was going to say something more about this. About decentralized like token stuff. I've had people tell me to go to the cloud because of the ease of setting up. Because of the cloud, and then I own all of the models. Then you don't have to worry about setting up. And I can charge more. That is just simple tools. I can charge more when if you come to me and just make a task and run it and it works. I can charge a lot more, because then I'm pretty much running all of the token costs and everything. But I think setting up your own thing is like, for me, it's very important. I think I will remain that way for a long time. To be honest, like I could bring your own model, so you can determine how much you are willing to spend on like token by yourself. And I don't own or care about any of that for now. I think probably doing that like that way for a bit. But one thing I have to point out is this does not only work with a code base. To be honest, you can point to any folder that holds like Word documents or PowerPoints or Excels, like pretty much any folder. and tell it to do something within that folder, right? So let's say you have an Excel file that has done a bunch of math. You can point and say, like, update this Excel sheet with whatever, and then we will go figure out what Excel is, what is in Excel, and then do the math to fix that Excel or PowerPoint or whatever it is you're working on. So it doesn't have to be code only.
Yes, I'm going to try to answer Okiri's question. Then you tell me where I got it wrong. I'll see if I've learned enough, right? So, like, obviously, it's just interesting, right? So with Sugar Banana, you actually bring in your own model. So if you're on Claude, on like, ChatGPT, you can connect it with, like, Sugar Banana. So your token cost is with your, like, AI provider. But what Sugar Banana does that's very helpful is the architecture on how, like, tasks are being run, which makes it more efficient to actually run tasks. Right, that's one thing that's like, then I always tell Richard knows this, I'm like, if I try to ideate any idea on Claude, I burn tokens faster than when I run it on Sugar Banana, because Sugar Banana has, like, the right architecture in place and just, like, the setup context window of how it runs things as well, so which makes you, like, cheaper for you to run things as well. So that's how I'll explain it, but how would you explain it more in details?
Yeah, I think that, like, that is the basic core of it right now, is like we mentally, like, prepare you to break your task down into, like, very small, like, achievable tasks, and having the AI run on those tasks is easier. Meta model, like, oh yeah, this is running now, I can close this one model and go and create a new task to do something else. That saves so much tokens, so much more tokens than you will imagine, because ordinarily if you use, like, ChatGPT or, like, the Claude, you have that one UI and you say, do this for me, and then once it's doing it, you're like, oh yeah, I will take it to 10, and then you do more for me, and keep asking to do more and more, and that bunch of tokens so much more, because the more the context window grows, the more tokens you expand, trying to fix, like, whatever follow-up you're asking for it. Someone said the best way to waste your tokens is to argue with your AI model. That is the best way to waste your token today. If you do something wrong and you keep arguing with it, like, no, fix it, fix it. That is the best way to waste your tokens. It's just, if you do something wrong twice, tell it thank you and let's start a new new window and ask you to do, like, the part that I got wrong. Yeah. So I think SB, like, that already saves that. Yeah. We have a freemium model, yes. 30 days free. 30 days for free, yeah. 30 days free.
And then let me type it here. Yes, freemium
30
model.
days free for you to build with your team of 5 people. Like, technically, I mean that's not 30 days. We'll just build later.
Yes, freemium model. Model 30 days free for teams for all members of the team.
Yeah.
And then
after then it's billing.
Then after that there is costs based on team size.
Yeah.
/ company size. Okay, let's just say team size, because you might be a big company but you only want a specific team. Can you currently ingest your design system in, or that's the feature coming later? That's good.
Oh yes, no, yeah, you can today. Yeah, today we support a soul.md file. The soul.md, technically the entire feature is called AI config, because we want to allow you to ground your AI in your code base so it knows what to do. So we have a soul.md, which is like how your AI should sound, or what the copy should look like, the tone of the agent when it works and creates copy on your site. We have the design.md, which is like your design doc of colors, fonts, typography, spacing, whatever you want. Design.md. We have an agents.md, which is like an agents.md is the one file that every agent will look at before doing anything in that project. We support an agent.md file so all of these files are files that you can create using AI as well. You say create a file, agent, soul, design, or whatever. We have your AI can help you create those files as well, by asking you, like, some questions for you to fill out, and then it will help you create those. But you can also just manually copy and paste. If you already have an existing one, copy and paste into it, or like write it yourself if you want. But we do support AI configs of like 6 different files to help your AI be grounded in your project.
Yeah, because Okiri is a designer, he's a product designer.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And even like for a noob as well, like we talk about screenshots, right? You can add screenshots, like Figma model. One of the things where we used to create our, like, websites. We're trying to redesign our websites. We had a designer actually use their Figma model, create it, and you can then ingest it into Sugar Banana as well. So I think that's one of the core nice things it does. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you doing. We should probably have done this online, knowing that Dallas is like in Dallas online first, so we can join. But I think we should keep doing this. Maybe one of them will do it online and stuff like that. Sounds like difference of SB from Cloud Code is saying is saving on tokens. If the user comes with a free Llama mode, does that work also?
Very good question. No, the difference between SB and Cloud isn't necessarily token saving.
Yeah.
No, I mean that is just a side effect of Sugar Banana. But then again, I'm trying to make it not a side effect but a core functionality as well. So I'm focused on actually implementing more strategies to save on token cost. But that's not the difference, and I don't think I want that to be the difference because you cannot win.
Yeah, but say the difference though, because the difference of SB is that
the core of it is the collaboration between teams and AI, and extending the ability of AI to be like you can have AI leads that define, build the best AI infrastructure, and everyone else in your company or your team can apply those same AI skills or AI tools.
And also, there's a lot of good questions here. All right, you guys keep them going. So, like, what differentiates SB? I want to say it, and like Richard can, like, talk about it. SB is like an AI operating system for teams, right? Usually now, teams are working in silos. A PM is using their own AI, a design person is using their own AI setup, and it's confusing to see visibility. And when you're working on a team, visibility is very important. And usually, we know cases of where people are putting company IP on where they're not supposed to put it, and nobody has visibility about that. So the main selling point number one of SB for me is like, I can work with my co-founders or different people on the team, like marketing team, business co-founders, all in one place. We can use AI to run all our tasks and have visibility into that, number one. Number two thing I see with SB as a differentiator for SB is like the scale. A lot of people here can vibe code from 0 to 1. I promise you, once you start having like real users, like it's hard to go from 1 to infinity. Like how can you have like mini CI/CD frameworks into your app? Like how do you actually like change things within the app? Like that's very important because everybody can vibe code something 0 to 1, push it. But like how do you actually push stuff that go through the app store when you're in the app store? Like we are not just like doing web app. We actually have like app, like mobile apps, right? So Sugar Banana helps you push stuff into your mobile app. And a lot of things we do in Agilize, we don't even run a new upgrade on App Store, right? We're actually running it into like our live system, right? So that's something that's very powerful with Sugar Banana. What again is not number 3, I think is just like, obviously now the other one is like, like the token architecture kind of side of things is like that as well. Number 4 is like the mobile running. That's very important, right? Where if you're working on your phone, you can put the task on your phone and you can run that. Someone says, enough of the technical. What's been the most challenging part of building this? Is it marketing, finding funny? That's a very good question. And we talked about this. The hardest part about, I know I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, a little bit, but like, I'm doing the non-technical side of things, but it's the community. Honestly, we're in Dallas right now, and I don't know, it's not in a bad way, but there's not a lot of like, I don't know.
In a bad way?
Maybe it's in a bad way. I don't know. Like Dallas is like, I don't know, like it's like, there's not a lot of founders or technical founders or people willing to take risks or even try new technology, honestly. And we feel like, like Richard feels like, if it's in SF or Austin, we all have the same thing as building an app, right? Like, and we'll not have to spend so much money on marketing, right? Because people will just know about this stuff. People really want to try this stuff. So just being in Dallas makes it harder. Because not only like Richard already built a great product, we have to extra marketing, but not just extra marketing. We even have to find people that are very interested in the first place about it, right? So I think distribution is always the big problem. I think, when, as somebody that's worked with Richard, like, that builds like a lot of fantastic apps, like it's always distribution is the big thing. How do you market it? And funding as well, right? And
I mean, come on, even funding is a Dallas problem.
Yeah, funding is a Dallas problem, exactly. Because like if we're like in SF, like I feel like, or in Austin, I feel like we just have to put like, Richard in a room, like me in a room, right? I feel like, we're in a place where, honestly, it's just the truth, right? Not in a bad way. Like people are not willing to put capital into something and take risk, and it might be because there's not enough capital in the first place and stuff. So that's been the biggest challenge, to be honest. Yeah.
No, distribution has been the biggest challenge. Like just getting to try it has been the biggest issue. Just getting someone to try it. Because if everyone that has tried it has stuck with it, like they've all loved it and stuck with it and keep building with it. But yeah, just getting more people to get aware of it. Has been the biggest thing. I guess we can call that marketing or distribution, but
distribution.
But it could be like, I mean, we could focus on marketing this outside of Dallas. I mean, I think that's probably what I will do coming next month. Like we focus on marketing this as a product, but to people in other cities, not Dallas necessarily.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
What?
How are you primarily doing marketing?
Right now, we are still working on a go-to-market to focus on different segments of users, possible users that can be here. The primary focus is like smaller teams, like startups of like 5 to 10 people that are smaller, they can move faster. And I think that's what we're trying to focus on. We haven't really like, so for the most part, I am going through a rebrand, put it that way. Because at first I was starting to market as a solo, come build, and that it works that way. It can do that, right? But I was marketing that as a thing. But like I think I want to move away from marketing that, even though it's possible, you can come as a solo founder, same way like Adina is, and build and deploy. But I want to focus our brand and our marketing and our copies to like more or less focus on teams, like building together, working together, right? Like I said, great work happens like when you work together, right? There's nothing that is good today that I was built alone. Name the best company that you have today, none of us built alone, right? One person might have the idea and start it off, but to actually build it into like a big thing, you need a team. Yeah, you need a team. No one has built something big. I mean, they are still trying to bet on the first solo billionaire founder, but it's going to be a long time before one person comes up with that, right? So we are still betting that great things will still require a team to work, and that's what I want to start marketing. Coming from next month. But then that's when we start actually marketing a lot. We'll be like, marketing to teams. But again, would that be in Dallas? I doubt it, right?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. So Okere is asking, like, and I think, it's so funny how we start. I don't know, like me and Richard, I don't know, this is my own personal thing. We have this way of, I don't know, like building stuff. I don't know if it's flawed, to be honest, like everything, but I think we believe it's going to work in the long run. We believe on having the technical foundation solid first. I know people, and I'm not even like faulting them. People go on and make it big. They don't even have an app. Some people go on, I'm going to build the best thing in the world. They don't even have an app yet. And like, I don't know if it works for some people, right? I think me and Richard and Toby, we have a kind of thing of like, let the technical be core. Like we think like every time, it works very well, right? And then you now tell the story, right? And I think, Richard has gotten to a place that has built this as technical and great. Now he's now like telling the story, right? And like he said, I don't know if you can know him, he's like, and I know like Richard is working on this, he's working with like, like Wally's brother, like working on like the branding, marketing of this, pushing it. Also, one of the reasons he also asked me, I'm his friend that's like that, is also telling that story of from being a non-technical founder. Everybody will say, Toma, you're very non-technical. So that's also one of the reasons he asked me, and like, we talk about that, like even like now, it's like build anything, we're telling the story, like you said, build anything together in plain English. That doesn't have any technical language, right? There's no buzzword with this. There's no AI, like build anything, in plain English, right? It's just like very easy as well. And I think we need to find somebody, even for Agilites, like finding somebody that maybe handles that side of things, like that just pushes marketing and branding. I think it's very important. And even like the group, we hired somebody, even in Nigeria, to just handle some of our marketing stuff. I think it's going to be very important as well.
Right? Instead of hiring someone, I have considered like just building agents, like automatic agents to do marketing. And I have to build that into SB. Like I actually want to build that as a feature on SB to have like an agent for marketing, and I will run it myself. And it like goes ahead and I define like the best way to sell it. I do agree with the hackathon thing. I think that's something that we might have to push one more time for like an actual full hackathon day experience for building. But then again, this is Dallas.
Yeah, this is Dallas. Okay, that's a really nice idea as well. I want to do hackathons, more stuff. But I think, the next time I want to do a hackathon, we maybe try to, everybody has an idea somewhere. Like, I don't know, it's like, I think people, like I know somebody that she wanted to build an idea. Like I feel like people are like, oh, will I come here? Will I not be? People are scared that they will be out of their depth, right? And it's kind of interesting, right? And I don't know, this is something I'm thinking about. But it also depends on, honestly, we should have been trying to talk about like where to target from. Do you target from the bottoms up or like up down? Right? That's where it's like, do we want to go to like a company that already exists or like technical founders already building something and say, okay, let's build an hackathon to improve your product or to scope a new feature already in your product? Or or do we start from like, oh, you want to build an idea, this SB kind of stuff? And I don't know, and I'm curious, like, you know, anybody has feedback about that, like we can take, because I think just create a bigger challenge, right? And maybe if you do I think maybe depending on what you decide, obviously, I think if you pick the first top boss, or maybe you do that, like we should do it online, an online hackathon for some type of way, like where you can get people from Nigeria, from your contacts, people from SF can join, and we just figure out how to do it online. So maybe we do that. And if you want to do like a little bit of a bottoms up for some reason, we can try to reach people. Like, you know, I have like an uncle that is like it's like a contractor, and he was thinking about, you know, creating a website and like some app. I wonder if you know, and that's like a lot of people have been posting that up as well. Like, oh, one way you can make money, you can call a company doing nothing and help them come up with a digital strategy. So maybe if that's the route you want to go as well, that maybe that's something you can do, and we can just like sell, like, okay, it doesn't matter what you are, you don't have to be in tech, it's just anybody that has a business, like you're selling food, but you want to have like an AI that can make it better, like, or something like that. Like, yeah, so, but I think that's a good point, okay? I think, yeah, we just have to decide, and I think we just have to decide. And when we decide, we decide the medium. Because if it's in Dallas, we probably, except we can also wait things. Maybe we do 2 months extensive marketing, but now we know, and like how long it's gonna take and stuff. Yeah, viral hackathon. Yeah, that's what, like she's saying, viral hackathon. I think, yeah, maybe a viral hackathon would be nice. Small docu for small business in Dallas. Says do a story of small documentaries built for small businesses in Dallas. Yeah. It's in Dallas and bad, they don't like tech. It's true, right?
Dallas is the vibes. I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, I moved to Dallas for vibes.
Yeah.
And for obviously when we met, for my first years in Dallas, I was all vibes. No one knew anything about me. All I did was party and go home. Yeah. And I was thinking about it, I was like, 2 years of my life, I did nothing. I proactively stayed away from tech, stayed away from being serious. I'll go to my 9 to 5 after that party. Right?
You know, I still realized that even me, when I was in New York and then Salt Lake City, I was like, oh, I was working so hard in investment bank. I want to come back to my friends and have fun, like I have vibes. Like that's the vibe city. But then after you're not in vibes, you're like, okay, I need to fight for my life. What next? And then now you're like, okay, I like my life, but yeah, no, it's like a thing. I feel like everybody needs a Dallas at some points, but then to move on, maybe. Yeah. And again, I see, like, I'm pro that, I don't do BTX, but like, I don't, but it's just the truth as well, you have to be honest, right? And it's like, can you change the community, or you just, or you cannot?
I mean, January 1st, I had you are dinner at the dinner for January 1st, January 2nd.
Yeah, where you made you and your guys.
Yeah, the guys dinner. Yeah. That was the question, like, do I create a tech community? Do I force and create a tech community in Dallas, or do I like pack my bags and go find an existing community somewhere else? Because the city is good. It's good for vibes. It's good for partying. It's good for a lifestyle. But like, yeah, if you live there, it's fun. But if you want to be serious, like, this is an actual place for building. I guess how many million dollar companies are in Dallas that didn't move here? Yeah. How many million that are not banks? Yeah. How many big tech companies are here?
Finance place. Maybe that's also, maybe we do like a finance hackathon. Like something, but like you build like a fintech or something like that. But these are people are actually giving good ideas here. Virtual hackathon, like, but these are not Dallas people as well. Yeah. Like okay, it's in DMV. Like Kami is in like SF, Toby is in SF. So the people giving idea. No Dallas person has even said anything here. That's like a thing. Even Sanzi like is in like SF. See, like that's actually a problem. Yeah,
I mean, they would download the apps when they are ready now.
Yeah.
That's a primary place for people to go.
But it's true, I think we'll just like, no, but this was good to have. I think we know what to do and intuit from. Try virtual hackathon. Just, just let me know like what way you want to go, and we can try to see again, sharp.
Kami, are you still in Dallas? People are dumb. Is that what you're saying? I see we are too dumb in Dallas.
Say we are too vibey. We like vibes too much.
So I don't geek out on that. But that is true. There's no lies in that. But again, like I said, there's no AI in the
we thought like that. Like okay, we not to put AI. See, we no buzzword. Put any buzzword, which is really nice.
Try to make it at least just come and build something, and that will continue to be the promise. Like build, I will just keep making that easier and easier for people to collaborate and build the company together. I don't want this to be an engineering product, like I said. For now, it is. But essentially, we want it to be a place where you build your company and run your company entirely end to end, or like every arm of your business can run on SB with agents. I mean, now we're saying agents now, with agents doing the work for you, rather than like human beings having to complete the work manually. So your team, yourself, all end up being just orchestrators and like the brain behind the work, but the actual work is done by an agent on your computers.
Sounds good. So we're gonna end the year. But this was good. We had a lot of feedback. Thank you guys for joining. And I always want to see how you can download these things. Some people always post it. Like
I think it records automatically.
Automatically, and then
I don't know if it downloads automatically, but it records automatically.
And can you post it after?
Yeah, let's post the full 1 million and 1 hour video.
Alright, sounds good. So I'll post it.
Yeah.
And